Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Here we are. Let me get us over here on Instagram, get us up and running. How is everybody today? We're back. We're here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Katelyn. I am here from Crochet.com. I do our influencers, ambassadors, and just a lot of other things here. But today we have a really special guest to talk about a brand new book launch with you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a second to get in. Let me get Instagram pulled up over here so that as you guys come in, say hi, say hello, where you're watching from. Let us know if you've done Tunisian before. Let us know what you're excited about this book. We're going to share some of the different parts of the book, some of the patterns. You're really going to get to experience it and have some fun. Towards the end, we'll do a giveaway, so you want to stay around for that. And yeah, let me bring in our special guest because what are we waiting for? So today we have the fabulous Dora Ohrenstein. Hi, Dora.
Hello, everybody. So great to be here. Thank you.
Yes, we are so excited to have you. If you don't know who Dora is, I don't know what you're missing out on. Dora is one of those names that has been around in the industry with a lot of knowledge associated with it and a lot of technique and skill associated with it, and definitely somebody that you want to learn from. And so the opportunity with this book coming out is really amazing because you can learn from all of her experience and her knowledge for Tunisian crochet, which we're starting to get some more books and information about, but it's still one of the parts of crochet that hasn't been like fully explored yet, I don't think.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So for those who don't know who you are, let's give a little bit of history about your journey into crochet, how you got started in the craft, and how you got started in your business with crochet.
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, it's a little unusual, my story, because I didn't really get into this industry until I was middle-aged, well into. I'm a New Yorker. My European parents gave me piano lessons at a very early age, and I was actually pretty active and had a very nice career in classical music.
Awesome.
And I also taught singing to college kids for many years. But I had picked up crochet when I was 19, and then I didn't look at it again at all. I mean, that music career is very, all encompassing. But then in the like 2003 or so, I started to crochet again. And so I had also no background in crochet, no family, nothing. So I didn't know that making clothes was hard.
Yeah.
And I just started doing it, and they kind of came out cute. So I went to a conference, and I don't know, too many people won't know the name Jean Linehauser, but she was a major figure in the industry. And this was the time when crochet was really burgeoning, and
Mhm.
all these magazines became established. And Jean really ushered me into the industry and taught me how to write patterns and how to size garments, and all the things. And so from that time, so that's, going back 20 years now, about even
Mhm.
more. Um, I really was learning on the job the whole time, I
Yeah.
have to admit. And I always loved regular crochet, but I was turned on to Tunisian pretty early on in my own journey. Because when I got into it, there really weren't even that many books.
Right.
But I remember looking for old books because there were a lot from the 70s,
Yeah.
you know. And one of the books I got was an amazing, what was that yarn company? Forget. But it was all Tunisian, all fashion,
Oh,
super chic, like Jackie Kennedy look.
nice.
Unbelievable. And I said, "Oh, I have to learn this. And what's really cool, can I go into a little history
Sure.
here?
Sure.
Because I think that a lot of people, like, this is an area that I'm very interested in. And I think it's because of my background in classical music. You're so history focused because you're singing
Mhm.
music that's 200 years old, or.
Right.
Um, so right away I was interested in crochet history, and people were claiming that it was ancient and blah, blah, blah. Crochet is not ancient. It's a 19th century craft.
Okay.
There is a precursor where they were slip stitching using these homemade hooks. Nobody thought of that as crochet. They
Okay.
thought of it as a species of knitting or
Okay.
something you did. And in different areas, it had different names. It was
Mhm.
done mostly in cold places, and it was done in different places in Turkey and in um, northern, Scandinavia, Eastern Europe, but nobody thought of it as a crochet. Tunisian, so the very first crochet patterns date from about well, there are a couple from 1825, very primitive.
Yeah.
The first English ones are 1845, and the
Okay.
first Tunisian ones are 1855. So
Okay.
Tunisian is nothing new. There were hooks, there were needles, knitting needles with hooks
Right.
on the end, and there were a lot of creative needle people. And
Right.
and the reason crochet and all this stuff burgeoned was it was the growth of literacy, the growth of educated women with leisure time.
Yeah.
And they were all nuts for the crafts. I mean, the
Yeah.
Victorians were super crafty people, you
Yeah.
know?
That's awesome.
So that's really, I think there were just some very clever needle women. We don't know who invented it, but all of a sudden,
Right.
there it was with a lot of different names. It was called Tunisian Simple Stitch was called Idiot Stitch.
Oh, well,
There were a lot of, I remember looking at some articles and stories from the period. There was like a hilarious story about a woman who was so addicted to the Idiot Stitch, her husband was complaining. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's the history. And I like it. I love both, but I'll tell you what, I've always been a garment maker, so I told you that was
Mhm.
kind of the beginning for me. And what I discovered that's really cool about Tunisian is that in regular crochet, for me anyway, I will be loath to make a garment, an indoor garment, out of a worsted weight yarn.
Yeah.
Crochet by nature is a little more thick than
Right.
knitting. Doesn't mean you
Right.
can't make something beautiful, but you have to use a lighter weight yarn.
Mhm.
So generally in regular crochet, I will maybe do a sport weight yarn, a fingering weight yarn. Um, and in Tunisian, you can go all the way up to bulky
Yeah.
and still get a really beautiful drape. So in the book, it's a range, a lot of DKs and sport and
Yeah.
even some worsted. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
speaking of the book, let's just show this off a minute. This is the brand new book that we are talking about, the Tunisian Crochet Sweater Collection. And I have to just take a second to call this out. And why I love this so much is because when at least when I heard about Tunisian for the first time, I heard it called like the blanket stitch. And so there's a lot of association, or there was at the time, of Tunisian is for making blankets. That's what you do with Tunisian. This is how you do it. It curls on the end. You cannot make garments with it. And there's so much that is now coming out to show how beautiful Tunisian is, and the stitches you can create with it, and the designs you can create with it, and the fashion you can create with it. It is no longer just for blanket making. And I love this so much because, too, I can find videos on YouTube on how to do different stitches, but finding really well written patterns to be able to make a Tunisian garment is not always easy to find. And I know that every pattern in this book is going to be well thought out. It's going to fit. It has all of the elements that you need to be able to start your Tunisian garment journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a great endorsement. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's also talk that you do start the book off with the essentials. So there is a portion in here that kind of breaks it down for you, gets you going on Tunisian. Would you suggest this book to an absolute beginner jumping in? I mean, I know you said you jumped right into garments. I jumped right into garments too. I didn't know any better. So what are your thoughts about that? Or do you suggest with Tunisian, maybe try something simpler first? What are your thoughts after all of your
Yeah,
testing and
it's
trying
a
out of
great
things?
question. Great question. I think the thing is with garments, you have to be counting stitches a lot, right?
Mhm.
If you want something that's really going to fit you. So, gosh, I have 10 things to say. Let me backtrack. I think there's nothing, I use Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian knit stitch. I don't use only one or two designs have challenging stitches.
Mhm.
But I do think you should have a couple of potholders at least under your belt. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you don't want to be, you want if you're going to spend the money on a bunch of yarn for a sweater, you want to make sure that you're not screwing up too early in the process.
Right.
But
Right.
I think if you are comfortable with even Tunisian simple stitch, there are several garments that use it and they're beautiful.
Right.
And, finding the variations, yeah, definitely, I highly recommend practicing any stitch. Uh,
Mhm.
Also, gauge can be really, really tricky
Yes.
with Tunisian because the beginning rows are never the same as later
No.
rows. So I say in the book, like, please make your swatch gigantic. Please try. I
Yeah.
know it's so tempting to just get going, but
Yeah.
it's really hard. I want to say about the sweaters. So
Yeah.
I only used two different constructions. I really wanted
Okay.
to make this very accessible for people.
Yeah.
So there are either dropped shoulder sweaters, which
Mhm.
means you work from the bottom up in a straight line, a big tube, or if it's cardigan, flat. And then when you get, this is dropped shoulder. Here, let me just stand up and show this to the people, right? So
Yeah.
there's no shaping for the armhole. This is the top, right? And then you join your yarn here and you make your sleeve.
Yeah.
So it's super simple. And all you have to really do to make sure it fits you is make sure that the bust dimension is, your bust could be
Right.
an inch smaller or 2 inches bigger. There's always a range. I don't think with bust it has to be like to the nth, right?
Yeah.
Some of the more important measurements really are, your um, shoulder width, your armhole depth. And I
Yep.
do go into all the measuring stuff in the book. And I even talk a little bit, or maybe not so little bit, about altering the sweaters, how to get it to fit you. But yeah, so I don't think they're innately hard, but it's a lot of counting and
Yeah.
measuring. So I do think it's one of those things you want to be in a good environment, not distracting, good light. It's making a sweater is something of a commitment, and I'm the kind of person who loves that. Not everybody does. Sometimes you want to just crochet mindlessly with the TV on. I do that too,
Yeah.
but not so much when I'm doing a sweater.
Right, right. And I love to, I'm going to call out this one too. This is a beautiful, beautiful pullover. This one, now let me get it right before I say it wrong. This is done in Malabrigo. So this you can purchase through one of our sister brands with Jimmy Bean's Wool. We have it on the site there. But
Hmm.
I love too how you really picked some beautiful fiber types to work with, because I know you said for Tunisian you can go all the way up to worsted or larger, but fiber type really makes a difference in the drape of a garment. And, we've talked about it too, that crochet is a little bit chunkier than a knit garment might be. So picking out these fibers that are really going to like breathe and they're going to move and they're going to have great drape is really important when making these types of garments.
100%. And that. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's the first thing that I look at is not only the weight of the yarn, but what's in it. And
Mhm.
we all know that some fibers are stiffer than others, some wools are stiffer than others, some cottons, right? What I love about this one, this has a bamboo. So this is
Yes,
merino and bamboo. So it's
that's in
like
the
this is
Galileo.
this is really meant as a summer sweater, and it doesn't close in the middle. It would, it's a little too chilly in here, but this would look particularly nice, I think, over a little tank,
Yep.
you know. And let me put on the other one because I'm
Yep.
cold. And
So
this
that's
is the
this one
one,
here, the Kelsey that we're talking about that she's going to put on next, which
yeah.
is
And this is
absolutely gorgeous.
another Knit Picks yarn called Capra, and it
Mhm.
has a little bit of cashmere in it,
It
which
sure
means
does.
so. Ah,
Yeah.
so this is that one, and stand up so you can see this is much fuller
Hmm.
silhouette, very, very comfy.
Yep.
Feels like you're in a nice big cozy blanket. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
I
And
love it.
here's an instance where the sleeves are just worked even,
Hmm.
so you don't have to mess with, uh, shaping. And then there's just a little cuff, which is very simple,
Yeah.
just tightening it up. So, yeah. And this will teach you also how to make a button band and buttonholes.
Yeah,
So
there's so
exciting.
much to learn in here. And I have to say too, I really love this where it's the pullover and a skirt set together. I think that's wonderful. You know, we don't see a ton of skirts in crochet to begin with, let alone Tunisian skirts. And so I think this is great. And the fit on your model is just absolutely amazing. The pattern is wonderful. That one just turned out really, really beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, the other two-piece set is the orange one. I think you showed that before. That's
Yes.
a halter. It's a Barocco yarn.
Yes.
Um, this
The
little
Nina.
pink, yes, with a cardigan that goes with it. And this is
Yeah.
interesting because it's worked in vertical rows.
Okay.
So the pattern is actually goes this way.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so
I
it's a
love
kind of
always
a
just trying
mesh.
a new construction, you know?
Yeah, and this was started in the center back.
Okay.
So you can see where I joined and start the second half, right?
Yeah.
And this little collar is this single crochet? I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's single crochet edging and
Okay.
collar. So,
Yeah.
I just want to say Tunisian is not more difficult for garment making, it's easier. The one reason I was attracted to it is it's more like knitting, and you can, in the sense that you're working with basically small little square stitches. So I
Mhm.
could use some of the techniques that I've been studying in knitting. I don't knit at all, like really badly, so I don't do
Yeah.
it. But I study knitting patterns and books to learn about some of the shaping,
Mhm.
and you can apply if you're a knitter who does Tunisian and you've made sweaters, um, you can apply a lot of your knowledge to Tunisian. So I wouldn't say Tunisian is more challenging for sweaters. And, I understand you're right about the reputation, but, in those old Victorian books, they made a lot of things, a lot of garments out of Tunisian. They really
Yeah.
weren't wearing sweaters, but they made little children's coats, you
Yeah.
know. So it was only in more recent years that this Afghan crochet
Mhm.
became a thing,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's silly because it's so beautiful, the stitches you can accomplish. I do want to let everybody know there are 15 patterns in the book that you'll be able to get. They're all gorgeous. You definitely want to check this out. And, again, like I said before, it's not just the pattern book. It has so much information about Tunisian in it that you can really get started on your journey if you've tried it once or twice before. I love Tunisian from the meditative perspective of it because it really is like it combines the best of knitting and the best of crochet, I feel like, because knitting for me can always be a little scary because if you drop a stitch, you've got to figure out where you dropped it, you've got to ladder it back up. Heaven forbid you're in some kind of stitch pattern and have to try to fix it. Where crochet has that ability that if you lose your hook out of your stitch or whatever, you can just like redo it. It's not like you're losing a whole bunch of it. And so you really have that kind of combination where you have your stitches on your hook at the same time, but you're not going to drop anything. I don't know. I just love it. The forward pass and the return pass is just absolutely so
Yeah, yeah,
meditative.
yeah. I want to show something that is not from the book, but since you brought that up, what you can do that's so cool. Give me a sec here. If you change the color,
Yeah.
this is honeycomb stitch, but I use two colors on every row. So you
Yeah.
have one on the forward pass, one color, and on the return another. And these are just some crazy ass sock yarns.
Yeah. I love
Sorry,
it.
sorry, sorry. Um, but yeah, this is a lot of fun, and this is available on my website, which is doraohrenstein.com.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, and we should talk about too real quick. Let's just talk about the tools that you need. It is different from a regular crochet hook because whether you're getting a very long straight hook or we sell them as interchangeable so that you can get your cables to it. And we recently in the past year added instead of our regular cables, we now have a swivel cable. And to me, that has been game changer for my Tunisian projects because before it would just like hang and it was heavy. But now with that swivel cable, it can move around while I'm working. So we also have the Tunisian in the round sets that you'll see, which comes with two of a size. And then you can put them on two ends of the cable. And that's really good for working in the round. Are any of the patterns worked in the round for yours, or are they all
I didn't because it's not that many people know how to do it,
right?
unfortunately. But
Right.
it's gorgeous, and I would love to popularize that. But
Yeah.
can't do this alone. You
No.
need to get a crowd of people interested. So I think it's coming. I mean,
Yeah.
Tunisian is definitely growing. I teach it every year at BK at Live, and I teach a lot of knitters. The knitters are really interested in it,
Yeah.
And the advantage for a knitter is these are big stitches,
Yes.
and this thing goes quick. It
It
goes a
does.
lot faster. I
It
was telling
really
my
does.
knitting friend, "Oh, I need like 25 rows in the yoke." She said, "25 rows? Isn't that going
Yeah.
to be like a kid size?" I said, "No, baby." You know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of nice,
I love
If-
it. Deborah says she absolutely loves the sweater that you just showed with the sock yarn, and she's going to go check that out. That was really pretty. And I love too that simple fact of doing a forward pass and a return pass in two colors can change the way your finished piece is going to look. And it just makes really gorgeous color play
Yes.
inside of a pattern.
Yeah, yeah, you can be really creative with that. So it's a
Yeah.
great way to use color, and there are some very fancy color techniques, in entrelac and targe. I do them a little, but honestly, I'm a little lazy that way.
Yeah.
There's so many other options for color work that are really easy and don't
Right.
require bobbins or lots of cutting or So I hope, crocheters who are listening, please jump into it. It's fabulous. It's not difficult once you already know how to hold the yarn.
Right.
I will say, like, loose, ladies, loose hand. Use a loose hand.
Yeah.
Don't work tight when you're on your return row. That's just a
Mhm.
row of chains.
Yep.
And let them be long, long chains, right?
Yeah.
Also, when you're picking up, you have to really not work tightly. And
Yeah.
people say, well, you just go up a hook size. I want people to learn how to have a loose hand.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's better
Right.
for your hands too, right?
Yep. Yep. Well, I do want to say, because I know we're getting close to time here, that we are going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway of one of the copies of Dora's book and a Tunisian hook set to go with it. So just so everybody knows, it will come in two separate packages. This will come from the publisher and we'll send out the hooks, just so you're aware. But what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put a comment in wherever you're watching from, and we're going to pick a winner to be able to get a copy of the book and a Tunisian set of hooks. So we're really excited. Hopefully this will get you started on your Tunisian journey, or at least your Tunisian journey in garments. That's what we're really excited about, because this is really great. I actually did last year a Tunisian hexagon cardie.
Oh,
Um, and that was a lot of fun. That was kind of the first time I did a garment in Tunisian, and I was so excited about it. And now I'm like wanting to do my next one. So I'm pretty excited that I'll pick one out of here to be able to do. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to scroll and I'm going to have you tell me when to stop. And that's who we're going to pick as our winner over here. And
so I have to say stop at some point.
yeah, give me 1 second. Let me pull up all the comments over here. Okay, ready? Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right. So we have Dawn. Dawn, are you still here? Let us know if you're here, because if you're not here, we are going to pick
Yeah, she
another.
says you have me inspired, Dora.
Yeah. So that was her comment from before. But Dawn, give us another comment now to know that you're still here, so we can get this out to you, or we're going to have to pick another winner. But Dawn, let us know. You're our lucky winner. So we'll give her just a minute to go ahead and chime in here. But yeah, you can grab the book now. It is out. It is available. It is time to go grab it and get your Tunisian crochet going.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Well, she's not responding.
Oh.
Dawn, are you there? Let us know. Okay.
Well, if you hear from Dawn after, maybe you can put her in touch with me, and I'll
I
try to
think we're
take
going to
care
pick
of
a
her.
different winner just so we know that they're here and they're going to get it. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to go. Oh, wait, Dawn's there. Dawn's here. Yay, Dawn.
God forbid she leaves the room for a
I
second.
know, I
All
know.
right, cool,
Dawn,
cool.
if you could send us a DM, it looks like you're watching on Facebook, so you can send it there or send it over on Instagram for us. Send us a DM with your mailing address and email address. I'll get it passed on for the publisher, and we'll get you a Tunisian hook set sent out as soon as possible. So again, just go to the crochet.com page. You can send us a message there, and we'll get it all worked out for you.
Yay.
Oh, person at the library always goes for the craft, or she's the person at the library who always goes for the crafting books. I love it. I love it. So yeah, everybody is saying how great the book looks and they want to go check it out. So that's really awesome. You guys have to check it out. There's so many great patterns in here. Let us know which one you're going to start on first, and be sure to tag us when you're done with a project so we can see what you've been up to and working on. So thank you so much, Dora, for joining us today to talk about the brand new book. We're so excited about it and being able to expand into that Tunisian world for everybody. Thank you to everybody
Thank
for
you.
joining us live today. And yeah, we hope you have a great time. Thanks again. Anything else that we missed that you want to bring up before we go? No? Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you here next week. Same time, same place. See you all then. Happy stitching.